Cynthia Nixon is a former actress. She was in Sex and the City. She's a New Yorker. In fact, she's a diehard New Yorker. And she decided she was going to run for governor against Andrew Cuomo. And she's not running against Andrew Cuomo as a Republican challenger, because, of course, Cuomo is a Democrat. She's running against Cuomo from the left. So Cuomo is a very corporate Democrat in many respects. And Cynthia Nixon's had enough. And so she's fighting back. And look at what just happened this week. Cynthia Nixon says she backs marijuana legalization. Now, Cuomo, of course, does not back marijuana legalization. In fact, he's a staunch opponent of marijuana legalization, and some have speculated that the reason behind that is he takes a tremendous amount of money from the alcohol lobby. And for those of you who don't know, there are actually weird laws in New York regarding alcohol. So, for example, in New York, you're not allowed to sell wine at the supermarket. In many other states, you go to those states and they sell wine in the supermarket. And it's nothing. It's like, yeah, there's the beer aisle, there's the wine aisle. You can't sell wine in a supermarket. But in New York, they're separate. So you're not allowed to sell wine in a supermarket. You have to go to a wine store for wine. And I think the reason behind that is that there's, the alcohol lobby is actually influential in New York. And they keep these really old school, silly rules in effect because it protects their profits. And so you have Andrew Cuomo, New York is one of the most democratic states in the country. 60% of the entire country wants to legalize marijuana. If you poll New York liberals on whether or not they want to legalize marijuana, it's going to be over 80% of them who say, yeah, let's legalize marijuana. But Andrew Cuomo, the Democratic governor, is against it. So this is just one way that he's a lot more right-wing than he portrays himself. Another way he's pretty right-wing is he did a backroom deal to allow Republicans to control the state Senate. So, and this is the old plausible deniability move. It's like, okay, this way, if the Republicans control the Senate, I can propose all of this progressive legislation and look like a massively progressive lion, but none of it's going to pass because now the Republicans control the state Senate. And so I get to turn around after that and go, oh, look at that. Don't blame me. Blame the big bad Republicans who blocked it. And Cynthia Nixon is calling bullshit on all of this. Another thing she's doing is she's running a Bernie Sanders-style campaign, and she's talking about income inequality, and she's talking about, for example, upstate New York. Now, upstate New York, that's the more rural part of New York. Of course, the city is in the southern tip of New York, and there is a tremendous amount of income inequality in New York State. And upstate New York, people are struggling. There are not many job opportunities. Wages are stagnant, and they've been stagnant for a long time. And she's saying he's not addressing these issues. He's part of that, elite circle. He takes a tremendous amount of big money. She's raising money from small donors. So, I live in New York, and I've been bitching a lot recently that unfortunately I don't have the option of many of these candidates that I'd like to vote for. Like, I'm sad I can't vote for Allison Hartson and Paula Jean Swearengin and Amy Villela and all these different candidates, these awesome Justice Democratic candidates. Well, now I have a candidate who I can vote for who's a left-wing candidate. So I can go to the voting booth and be happy and know I'm not voting for the lesser of two evils. And that's a great feeling, man. I remember how it felt when I voted for Bernie in the primary. What a great feeling that was. You walked out of there happy. You were like, yes, I did something here that I feel like is important. And you get excited about it to participate in your democracy when somebody actually represents your ideology and your belief system. Well, here we have Cynthia Nixon much more represents my belief system than Andrew Cuomo does. So as somebody who is a New Yorker, and by the way, Secular Talk, we have a lot of listeners. I think the biggest states for Secular Talk listeners, California, Texas, and New York. So if you listen to Secular Talk and you're in New York, register to vote and then go vote for Cynthia Nixon for governor, because she's going to be significantly more left-wing, significantly more populist than Andrew Cuomo is, and that's a fact.